Hello friend, Nathan here, and if you follow my Beyond the Guitar music video channel, you probably saw that I recently released a mashup of the Mandalorian theme with the iconic Star Wars Force theme. If you're familiar with both themes, you can hear me start introducing elements of the Mandalorian theme underneath the Force theme here, weaving the two different melodies together and creating a musical blend of the two separate themes. And that's essentially what a mashup is, taking two or more completely different songs or pieces and creatively blending them into one piece of music. Being able to create mashups and medleys like this is such a valuable skill as an arranger because people love them. It is fascinating for your audience to watch you and listen to you creatively navigate between these completely different pieces of music. And there's always this question in their mind, how in the world is he gonna pull this off? So it gives you an opportunity to surprise and delight them when you do. And for us as the arranger, it's a really rewarding creative challenge. It's like a musical puzzle, figuring out how these different pieces fit together. And on top of that, for me specifically as an arranger of music that connects to stories and characters from video games and movies and TV shows, I can use these mashups as a way to tell my own new story in a way, in how I choose to weave these different themes together and in what order. It's like I can kind of orchestrate this emotional roller coaster for my listeners. So today, I want to share with you 4 tips that I use to create these mashups so you can start experimenting with your own. And as we dive in here, I want you to leave me a comment and let me know what's one of the coolest mashups that you've ever heard, or what's a mashup idea that you would like to see or try for yourself. All right, number 1, you need to transpose the different themes into the same key. If they're in the same key, they're gonna now revolve around the same notes, same scales, and at least some of the same chords, which means you're gonna be able to find some overlap in their separate melodies and their chord progressions, which is gonna make it easier to blend the different themes together. Now, you might occasionally get lucky and the pieces that you choose for your mashup might already be in the same key, but that's definitely rare. In most cases, you're going to have to at least transpose one or more of them, like in the case with my Force and Mandalorian theme mashup. The version of the Force theme I was working from was originally in the key of C# minor. While the Mandalorian theme is originally in C minor, a half step away from C# minor, making it virtually impossible to blend the two themes, so I ended up transposing them both into the key of A minor for my arrangement. Not only is A minor just a better key for guitar in general, but now that both themes share the same key, you can see how both melodies now consist of some of the same notes of the A minor scale, making it easier to start experimenting with blending the two together. Now, if the idea of transposing keys is totally foreign to you, don't worry, it is easier than you might think. In fact, I have a series of free lessons through my website that teach the basics of arranging, one of which covers transposing music into different keys. So go to my website, beyondtheguitar.com, or follow the link down below and sign up for my free training, Fretboard Freedom, where I teach you how to find and play chords anywhere across the fretboard. Then over the coming week, I'll email you those follow-up lessons as well, including the one about transposing. Again, this is all completely free, link down below. Tip number 2, look for opportunities to hint at the other melody. While playing one theme, we can often find ways to creatively sneak in bits and pieces of another melody. It doesn't have to be exact, it can just be a few notes or even just a rhythm teasing that melody, just enough to be recognizable and to capture the essence of that melody. Think of it like a musical Easter egg that you hide in your arrangement. Subtle enough that somebody might miss it if they're not paying attention, but really rewarding for those more attentive listeners who pick up on it. An example of this in my Force/Mando theme mashup is right here. At the end of this phrase in the Force theme, there's this long pause while you hold this D major chord. Now, my immediate thought was this would be a good opportunity to try to sneak in some of the Mandalorian theme while I'm just holding this chord and nothing else is really going on. So after playing around with some ideas for a while, this is what I came up with. If you know the Mandalorian theme, then you'll recognize that as the very first few notes from the intro of the theme. Right? Now I got lucky and those notes just fit perfectly over that chord, although transposing them into the same key made that possible. But I did have to slow that way down to match the tempo of the Force theme. But this is a perfect example of the fact that you just need a few notes and that distinctive rhythm to hint at the theme and be enough to be recognizable. But let's say those notes didn't sound good over that D major chord. This concept can still work even if you have to slightly alter the notes of the melody, like this. Right? I changed the notes of the melody, but stayed true to that recognizable rhythm, bouncing back and forth between those two notes. It's not as instantly recognizable, but it still works and it's still enough to hint at that theme. Tip number 3, and this one's really cool when you can pull it off, play multiple melodies simultaneously. So for this one, you're taking 2 or more of the melodies from your mashup, stacking them on top of each other and playing them at the same time. Now, even if they're in the same key, this will not always work, but sometimes with a little luck and some creativity, 2 melodies can line up just right over the same chord progression, even if just for a few beats, and it creates this really cool effect that truly embodies the concept of a mashup. I played around with this for a while with my Force and Mando mashup, and for the life of me, could not get it to work at first. The melodies just didn't line up really well. They didn't sound nice being played simultaneously, but I persevered and I discovered this perfect compromise. If I waited for this climactic phrase in the Force theme, and took the beginning of the Mandalorian theme, slowed down to match, put those together, and you get this. It is so awesome when things line up like that, and it feels so good when you finally find a way to make it work. So I think the key lesson here is be patient and keep trying different ideas. You'll be surprised with a little patience and some creativity, you can do some really cool stuff with 2 seemingly completely different melodies. All right, final tip. Number 4, use the 5 chord to transition into the next theme. Out of all the chords we have available to us in a given key, the 5 chord wants to resolve back to the 1 or tonic chord the most. By 5 chord, we mean the chord that's built off of the 5th scale degree. So in the key of A minor, your 5 chord is either going to be an E major or E minor chord. Now the 1 chord or tonic, that's home base. That is the chord that the key is named after. So in the key of A minor, the tonic or the 1 chord is an A minor chord. To summarize all that, for our example in the key of A minor, the 5 chord E sounds the most tense and wants to resolve back to A minor. So how this plays out in mashups is that most themes start on the tonic chord. So when you're ready to fully transition into the next theme of your mashup, you want to set up that transition with a chord that pulls you into that next theme so that transition sounds natural. So ending one theme on the 5 chord does just that. Now, in many cases, this tip takes care of itself because a lot of musical phrases naturally end on the 5 chord already, creating that tension that then resolves to the tonic at the beginning of the next phrase. So we're just capitalizing on this concept to create transition points within our mashups. Looking again at my Force theme mashup, the Force theme ends here. on this strong E power chord, the 5 chord, which is why it sounds so natural to then transition directly into the Mandalorian theme, because the Mandalorian starts on this A, the tonic, right? So we have that 5 to 1 tension and resolution. All right, I know we covered a lot here, but hopefully this gives you some ideas to kickstart your creativity and experimenting with your own mashups. Now, creating mashups is a more advanced arranging concept. So if you're completely new to arranging and all of this feels a little overwhelming, don't worry about it. Save this video. You can always come back to it later and just get started by taking my free training, Fretboard Freedom. Again, linked down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button to let me know and to encourage the YouTube algorithm to show it to more people. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on so you never miss future videos. And as always, here's to making the music you love and making it on your own terms. All right, see you in the next one.